Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.
Oh, look at this. There's a guy who looks just like you with a Wu-Tang shirt.
Yep.
Slightly blonde hair at the bottom. What is this?
Yeah, I think I had, when I had shorter hair, I had it like bleached and colored like green and all sorts of colors.
So you're sitting on, so basically you're sitting on the awning of a building.
Yes, that would actually be the roof of that shop that I was telling you about.
Southside Custom?
Southside Custom, the one that got shut down.
Okay.
Because of that car dealership.
Right.
That was actually the day that we packed everything out of there to get out of the building, basically,
right?
Because they were kicking us out. You know, we stopped paying rent because we weren't making any money.
Sure.
And we're like, all right, well, I guess we'll do a couple months here and then leave, you know, and that's what we did. We ended up having to leave. I went back to Florida. But yeah, that was the last day. That was honestly one of the funnest periods of my life. We had such a good time at that shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the photo is basically somebody on the ground shooting up.
Exactly.
You're sitting. So you're in your jeans. You got a Wu-Tang shirt on.
Yep.
You're
ripped up
jeans. Yep. Everything's ripped up. You're looking forward at the photographer. Mm-hmm. Behind you is the shop that says Southside Custom Tattoo. This is in Florida, or this is?
No, this is here. This is
Savannah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
How far away from where we are right now?
About 15 minutes.
Okay.
Something like that, because we're right now like at the very beginning of downtown, I guess you would call it.
Give the address so people know to come and visit you.
Yeah, 302 West Victory Drive.
Boom, done.
But yeah, we're on like the very beginning of downtown, I guess you would call it. And then there's like, after this, there's just Midtown, and then it's the South Side.
Sure.
So like we were over on the South Side before, which is like a whole, it's like not, everything in Savannah is like 30 minutes tops away.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like,
small city for sure.
Exactly.
So what was the largest city you've been in?
I mean, I've been to New York, I've been to Chicago, I've been to Boston, like a lot of the major metropolitans, LA, all of those.
And like all these cities you've worked at, like you've done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I for the most part, if I go somewhere, I'd like to try to take work with me.
Do you so you get to New York? Okay, so have you which cities or what places have you visited outside of the U.S.?
So far, only Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And I went to the Bahamas when I was a little kid. But Puerto Rico, I guess, still technically it's annexed or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the furthest place I was able to tattoo, and I actually did the Puerto Rico tattoo convention, which was really cool.
I totally forgot to introduce you. So.
Oh yeah, I'm Jordan. Hi.
So, and your last name is what? How do I say your last name?
Malone. People say it differently. Some people say Mallon. In Spanish, I'm Cuban American, so we say Mayon.
Mayon, okay.
Right. But I mean, you know, people read it however they read it. Some people say Mallon, some people say Malone. I always just say Malone because it's closest to Mayon.
Yeah. Got it. Do you speak Spanish?
Yes. Yeah.
So you know my nickname in. From Mexican friends so my name is Ran. My nickname is Rendejo.
Okay.
So you know pendejo, right?
Yeah, I was thinking, is this a play on pendejo?
So explain what a pendejo really is and why.
I mean, it means dick, but
I thought it meant pubic hair.
It's the whole area. It's the pubis,
it's a pendejo.
Yeah. The thing is, in Spanish, everything means dick. And it all like. There's a funny song that
How do you get any work done? No, I'm just joking.
It really, honestly, it's not easy. But yeah, there's like this funny song about how like everything means dick in Spanish.
Okay.
Like, everything is a euphemism. It's a sexual euphemism somehow.
So for the listeners, what you're doing right now is you're shaking up a bottle of red ink.
Yes.
Which is going to be the red circle of the Shooting It Raw logo.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm here, because you agreed very kindly to do the logo.
Yes, sir. Just gonna go grab some needles real quick, and we'll be able to get started in just a few here.
Sure. Okay, but have you been to Cuba?
I haven't yet. I'd love to go. I was actually thinking about it just a couple days ago. My grandmother's from Cuba. I've never been.
Yeah.
My Cuban Americanness is just from like my family being Cuban. Yep. I've never actually been myself, although I'd love to go. But I want to go with my grandmother, and she hasn't really wanted to go since it's been how it is. You know what I mean? She wants it to be better, but I don't know if it's gonna be better in her lifetime, and I really want to go with her. So I've been trying to convince her to come with me anyway. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And just take a trip, even if it's not the same Cuba she left when she was a kid. It'll be something, you know?
Yeah.
And share that a little bit. But I don't know if she'll want to do it. I also understand her not wanting to see it the way it is now when she remembers it the way it was, you know?
Sure.
So I get it too, but I would also love for her to come with me. I'll go eventually either way.
One of the guests I had on the podcast is a street photographer.
Okay.
And he just loves Cuba.
Okay.
He just thinks it's the best.
Where's he from?
Well, he actually lives in Montreal.
Okay.
He's not Cuban in any way. He's just in love. I think, yeah, he just loves the place.
Right.
So my arm now is on this pad. You're putting on the latex gloves. I've taken off my pants so you can do the
Yes, that's very important.
the
You can't have
exam.
pants on.
So the photographs you did screenshots from Instagram, sent it
Oh,
over.
3 of them. I think there's one that's not a screenshot, I believe.
Okay. So what is your relationship to? Are you basically promoting yourself through Instagram or through?
For the most part, it's for promotion. I mean, obviously, when I use the same Instagram that I used before I was tattooing, I just turned it into a tattoo Instagram once I started tattooing.
Yep.
Just because I already had like friends following me and stuff like that, and I didn't really want to start a new one. But yeah, it's like really just mainly for promotion. But I heard something somewhere. I don't even remember where I heard it or if it's even true. But I heard some shit about how you're like the best way to keep a following or whatever is to have like 80% the business and like 20% personal stuff.
Sure.
So I try to post a little bit of like, you know, myself and my life on there as well to like, you know, keep people interested, I guess is the idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes sense, I guess, you know. You follow somebody and you're more likely to pay attention to what they're doing if you know other things about
Well,
their
you get
life
a
too.
feeling for them as well.
Right,
As people.
yeah, exactly. I get that too. Like, I guess I do pay more attention to like the people I follow who I know a little more about for whatever reason, you know? So
Right.
Makes sense. So yeah, I try to post a little bit of like, you know, whenever I go on a trip or anything like that, I'll make mostly story posts because I try to keep like the grid looking professional or whatever.
Yep.
But
as an aside, I'm really sorry if I stink because
you're fine,
I'm cleaning pools while I'm down here.
okay.
So
Nah, dude, trust me, we have some stinky people come in here. You're fine.
sure.
I don't know how many feet I've had to tattoo with while I held my breath.
What was it like to hold the tattoo gun?
For the first time,
Did you
nerve-wracking as shit.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, honestly, it's still permanent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm better and I've learned a lot, so like it's less likely to make mistakes, but it's always still possible. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So like every tattoo, there's always that like, all right, you know, it's still the same thing.
Sure.
Obviously, you get more confidence and as you get better at it,
Yeah.
but there's still that level of like, all right, I could, you know, fuck up.
Yep. Well,
Don't worry, we're not going to that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This is all. It's actually part of the story. So
Right,
whatever
of course.
happens is part of the story. So, like one of the things I do in my work is I train, coach, teach, consult, in business consulting.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
And so when I come here into your shop, I come in, as a personal, like personally interested because I'm here as a customer, but I'm also coming in as a consultant who's come in to look at businesses. And so just from how you've spoken already, it's interesting to me that you have, I think from time, you've kind of learned and figured out how to think about tattooing as a business, like you're
I mean, you have to a little bit.
Yeah, so why don't you talk about, because before you'd mentioned like, like in Orlando, it's just the market.
Or Miami.
Miami, sorry.
Yeah.
It was like really
Saturated,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it basically came from, I think it started with that show Miami Ink.
Yeah.
Everyone who was tattooing all over the country saw that show and took that as a sign that Miami was where you made money tattooing.
Right.
And then you had a fucking 300 different tattooers opening up shops in Miami.
Yep.
And now you've got one on every other block, basically,
Yeah.
And, there's only so many people getting tattooed. And then also, when you're trying to beat out every other shop for the clientele, what you end up doing a lot of the time, or what they end up doing a lot of the time, you'll see is like doing like just deals that make no sense.
Right.
They'll be like $20 tattoos. Like there's no way anyone's making money on that tattoo. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And what they're doing is basically just screwing over their apprentices, which is people who are learning to tattoo.
Right.
They're made to do these like super cheap tattoos.
Right.
And they're expected to not come out great.
Sure,
you know what I mean? They're just making money off of them and creating extra clientele who, for some reason, even though they got a shitty tattoo there, will come back.
Oh, okay.
That's the part that I don't understand.
I wonder why
how they still come back. I think it's just because a lot of the, at least some of the tattoo culture nowadays isn't really about having the best tattoos. It's about having coverage for whatever reason.
Oh, okay.
Like guys just want to have tattoos all over, so they don't care if it's good. They just want to get a lot of tattoos for cheap.
Oh, okay.
Which getting tattooed at a shop like that works for that. You know what I mean?
Sure,
If you're paying $20 per tattoo, you can get a whole goddamn sleeve for a couple $100, and then you're set. When like if you got like a sleeve from me with like the quality of work and you know the amount of time it's gonna take, it's gonna cost you a few grand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a different ball game, you know.
It's really interesting. Like when so I'm really sensitive to how people speak. And just listening to how you articulate words, I don't know, like, so what was your first language?
Spanish.
It was Spanish, okay.
Yeah.
And you grew up where?
Miami. I get that a lot. It's like a very weird, like, slight accent. Like, it's like...
We all have an accent, right?
Exactly, yeah, exactly. I think my accent is just like a combination of like having Spanish as a first language and also learning English from people who have Spanish as a first language.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like when I speak Hebrew, I speak Hebrew with a French accent because I'm copying my mom's accent, and I think her strongest language is French. So I speak Hebrew with a French accent, even though English is my strongest language.
Right.
So we all have accents, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So
are you Israeli?
Oh yeah, I was born in Israel. Yeah.
That's cool.
So how have you not picked up the Southern accent? Because it really sinks in.
I haven't picked up much of the accent, but I definitely picked up a lot of the vernacular.
Sure.
Like I'll y'all you to hell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All of that. The what all y'all doing? You know, say shit like that.
Right.
But it's still with like my voice and my accent
Sure.
because that's just how I speak.
Of course,
I don't think that's gonna change. But yeah, I definitely have picked up a lot of like words and stuff like that. Like if you catch me in Puerto Rico, I'll start calling you papi and shit like that, you know?
Okay. I prefer pendejo.
That works too. In Puerto Rico, everybody calls each other papi.
Okay. Like why is papi more so than
It's
other? Like why that would be specific to Puerto Rico?
It just got honestly, I couldn't answer that question. It just got popular, I think.
Answer, you will answer every question.
And like in Hispanic countries, we always have like a lot of slang and nicknames and stuff like that. I think papi just got popular in Puerto Rico, and people just kept using it. They do it in the Dominican Republic too. I think it's just like those Caribbean kind of islands, you know?
Yeah. So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.